with Jesus, this new podcast where we hopefully can take a little peek into the human part of Jesus on earth with us. I have with me Lily Ortega, who will be translating this into Spanish, and Dr. Ruth Anderson, who I'm in with some questions that we had. So thank you both for being here. I'm going to take just a moment to share this and get our question. Lily, thank you. I'm going to share this to you as well, so it'll be easier for you to then share it to others.
Okay, Terry. Good morning. Buenos días.
Okay. We have people that are starting to find us, so thank you for coming in. Okay, so we have it shared out, and good morning to all who are finding this. This is so exciting. So if you are coming in and you're seeing that we're on air moment, just hit the share button, your Facebook page or your YouTube, and send it to a friend. Maybe that of just sitting with Jesus, sitting with spiritual beings who are like-minded and have questions. That's how this came to be, because I'm a very curious person. And if I want to know something, I figure others like me that would like to have a better understanding of the life and times of Jesus while he was here. We know. So this is an opportunity for us to hear it and maybe get some of our questions answered. And I really appreciate you, Lily, and the fact that we can reach more people that maybe normally wouldn't be able to understand if they don't have a good grasp of English, which is my language that I've this lifetime. But Lily translates it for those Hispanic need maybe that better understanding through their native language of what's being said. So again, thank you.
No, thank you for the invitation. Para la audiencia que nos está escuchando en español, buenos días. Estamos aquí en el programa Caminando con Jesús con Teri y nos está acompañando también Dr. Ruth Anderson. Y bueno, vamos a tener otra conversación Caminando con Jesús. Recuerden que si tienen preguntas, pueden hacerlas durante el programa y se les serán contestadas en el momento en el que Teri esté recibiendo el mensaje de Jesús. Y por favor, tomen su tiempo, si pueden, de compartir este programa para que llegue a más gente, a la gente que habla español. Así que gracias por estar aquí. Buenos días.
Thank you. So last week we talked about how Jesus handled challenges, because he was in a human form, and that's what these human bodies are all about. We're here to learn and experience and for our soul growth. So we just took a little peek about how he may have handled some of the things that came up for him. And it was a very interesting discussion. These are all recorded. So if you want to watch more episodes than the current, you can go to our YouTube channel at Enlightened World Network. It's also on Angel Speaker's channel, Angel Speaker's Teri Angel. So today, I just want to see if there are questions that people have or areas of Jesus' life that you would like. One thing I've been very curious about is Jesus praying. we have been told by some of those disciples that walked with him about Jesus praying. So that's one question I have, and maybe others curious, or if you have other different, let's throw it out there and see what comes forth from this discussion today. Lily?
Sí. En la semana pasada, el día que empezamos este programa, estuvimos hablando de los retos en esta vida y le preguntamos a Jesús que cómo es que él vivió sus retos, cómo los sobrellevó. Y bueno, en este programa, el día de hoy, vamos a estar tomando sus preguntas. Recuerden que este programa es grabado y si quieren ver el programa de la semana pasada, lo pueden ver por medio de Enlightened World Network. Así se llama, Enlightened World Network. Y en el otro programa que está grabado se llama Angels Speakers. Entonces ahí pueden ir a ver el programa grabado de la semana pasada. Y como dijimos, estamos aquí para contestar sus preguntas. Y una de las preguntas que Teri tiene es cómo es que Dios oraba, cómo es que él pedía. Entonces, bueno, vamos a continuar.
Thank you for that, Lily. So I'll ask Lily, you're here, and Ruth, is there anything in particular about or any other area that we would like to explore today that you have questions about?
Well, I do have a question, but I wrote it down somewhere in my notes, so I know I will come back to it.
Okay.
I do have a question, which is maybe another Saturday, but I just wonder, what was Jesus really like to be with? Was he always in teacher mode, or could he just relax and just be a friend and a son and not always be teaching?
Okay. Let me translate that
what a great
part.
question. Yes, please.
Yes. Teri nos está preguntando a Ruth y a mí si tenemos alguna pregunta en específico para Jesús, y yo les dije que más adelante puedo hacer mi pregunta, y Ruth pregunta que si Jesús, cuando él enseñaba, siempre estaba en el modo de enseñar o estaba relajado, y que si estaba siempre como un amigo o como un hijo, o cómo es que él hacía para enseñar, en qué tipo de modo estaba a la hora de enseñar. Esa es la pregunta que tiene Ruth.
Thank you. That goes along with what I had heard as a discussion today, because when we think of a public figure, which was what it turned into being, the public really had their eyes turned on Jesus. The public figures today, we see a certain part of their lives. We see them as an entertainer or an actor or a politician or whatever their role is that they took on in the lifetime. But there's always that other part, isn't there's always scenes that doesn't get to see the private part of them. And I think, Ruth, that is that addresses your question. It's like, how was Jesus behind the scenes, behind the curtain, when no one was looking? And we all have a private part where no one's looking. How are we in those moments? Lily, if you would like to translate that.
Yes. So, Teri nos está diciendo, expandiendo un tanto en la pregunta que hizo Ruth, de cómo era Jesús cuando enseñaba. cuando era maestro y cuando hablaba en público. Entonces, la pregunta aquí es, expandiendo en eso, que pues Jesús era una figura pública, por decirlo así, porque hablaba en público a grandes audiencias. Entonces, normalmente a una figura pública nosotros la vemos como un actor o como alguien que entretiene. Y pues también hay otra parte en nuestras vidas, como probablemente fue para Jesús, que es la parte de la vida privada, la parte de la vida que la gente no ve, todo lo que está detrás de la escena, por decirlo así, y que todos nosotros también tenemos eso, tenemos una vida privada. Entonces, esto es lo que nos está comentando Teri, expandiendo un tanto en la pregunta de Ruth.
Thank you. I just want to take a minute and welcome those who are saying good morning to us, ladies. Him is here, Suzanne, Jim, and Gracie. Thank you all for jumping in, and anyone who hasn't said hello to let us know you're here. Welcome in, welcome, and please interact. Type in your questions, your thoughts, way that you would like to see things discussed here on this channel. So, in asking Jesus about the behind the scenes Jesus, let's call it that, the one who wasn't out there preaching, praying, doing that daily master mode. How was he in those times when maybe he was all alone? You know, I think of myself and the times before I fall asleep. And so that's the question I have. It's like, what last things that you thought about before you went to sleep? Did you like get what we call a normal night's sleep? There a lot of rest that happened for him. So as I'm tuning in and asking him, he's showing me an image of him really relaxing because it was very, the word I'm hearing is strenuous to constantly be a servant. And not that it was a burden on him because that was mission, but it was not easy to always be someone came to ask their questions, and a lot of the crowd that just wanted to touch him, to touch his garments, to be in his presence, to feel his light, his love. Those moments before rest, which he says he did get the rest that the body needed, he just like shut down. He let everything go from the day and released whatever had been grabbing, whatever was there to energy. So let you translate that, please.
Yes. So, bueno, primero que nada, Teri está agradeciendo a la audiencia que nos está viendo, a Kim, a Grace y a muchos otros que están ahorita en vivo, y nos está motivando para que hagamos preguntas, porque para eso estamos aquí, para contestar las preguntas. Entonces, bueno, siguiendo con la plática y las preguntas a Jesús, Teri dice que ella lo que percibe de Jesús es que lo percibe muy relajado. Esa es la imagen y lo que ella percibe. Y que Jesús, bueno, ella pregunta, bueno, ¿qué es lo que se hace antes de dormir, no? Si estamos, cómo estamos, en qué tipo de modo de relajación. Ella dice que Jesús estaba relajado y él intentaba, en el tiempo que él no estaba en vida pública, él trataba de estar en ese modo porque él tenía mucha energía que era como digámoslo así, drenada, por decirlo así, por todos sus contactos con audiencias grandes. Había mucha gente que le gustaba tocarlo para sentir su luz y su amor también. Y entonces, como eran tiempos muy ocupados de estar con mucha gente, él tomaba tiempo durante su día para dejar que esa energía empezara a fluir y esa energía que él sacaba durante el día, entonces usaba esos tiempos como de silencio para estabilizar su energía que él usaba durante el día. Entonces sí usaba mucho tiempo en silencio y relajación. So, Terry, as I am saying this, I guess my question is, so it seems that because he was busy with a lot of people, and probably also like his energy maybe got, like we say, drained. Um, he was a lot of time in silence, probably, right?
Mhm. Yeah, you froze for just a second there, but I think I got what you were asking, that he was in silence, and it's so interesting, Lily, because as you were translating, I even heard to speak about the need for stillness, the need to go into the space, because, we think of Jesus as knowing. We all have the knowledge inside of us about everything, but bringing it out it happens when we go into the quiet, we go into the stillness, when we just sit and ask and then listen. He said, yes, the stillness is so important. It was important for him, just as it's important for each of us to take that quiet time, to not be constantly questioning, but to actually receive. That's where we grow. That's where we have a clear understanding of our purpose and of what's important, because there's many things that can distract. And that was a big point that he wanted to make, is there were so many things that could have been distracting and pulling him from his mission of being here. So it's important, always, to tune in, to listen. And so that was a huge part of his journey while he was here, was staying in touch, communicating God with the Creator.
Yes. Um, entonces, yo le preguntaba a Terry que si entonces el tiempo que Jesús no estaba con mucha gente, que si él estaba mucho tiempo en silencio. Y nos dice Terry que ella también escuchó eso, que la necesidad de estar como en silencio y en quietud. Ella dice que ella escuchó que que era importante para Jesús, así como también es para nosotros, de recibir y de como que aclarar todas esas distracciones que tenemos día a día que vienen de fuera, y que eso nos hace entender mejor nuestro propósito, y en el caso de Jesús lo ayudó a como que a enfocarse en lo que era su misión de vida y su comunicación con Dios.
Thank you. I just want to check in with Ruth and see if there's anything that you are tell as you turn into Jesus, and especially about how he handled that need for quiet or the need for solitude
That's,
as he was with us.
yeah, that's not where my brain was going. Where my, what my brain was wondering, if, so Jesus was sent here to redeem our sins, and he was here in human form. But if he was always so connected to God, did he fully have the experience of being human?
Okay. Let me translate that. Ruth nos está diciendo que ella lo que escucha en estos momentos, lo que escuchó es, si es que Jesús vino aquí a la tierra a perdonar, por decirlo así, nuestros pecados, que si estaba Él comunicándose con Dios y que si Él cómo es que Él tenía esta experiencia como ser humano. So, Ruth, can you please expand a little bit in this, because even me, I am trying to understand more what you said.
One of the parts of being human is that we get the opportunity to be the only ones talking in our heads and making our own decisions. But if he was always fully listening to God, did he get those opportunities to just hear his own voice?
Okay. Nos está diciendo Ruth que, bueno, nosotros como humanos, que tenemos nuestra propia mente, ¿no? Cómo nosotros escuchamos nuestros pensamientos y nuestra guía para tomar nuestras propias decisiones. Entonces Ruth se pregunta si Jesús, al hablar con Dios, tenía esa oportunidad de escuchar su propia voz. Eso es lo que nos está comentando Ruth, que eso es en lo que ella está como interesada en saber.
And what a great way to look at that life and say, were you truly human? That's the question, right? Do the things, have the thoughts, have the behaviors that as a human behavior, anger. Well, we know that Jesus got angry. We heard that from some of the followers that wrote about the experience. But I think of let's say in traffic, when somebody cuts you off, and that immediate reaction is that anger and that wanting to blast them, to judge them for what they did. So I'm just asking and filling into what's about his life, and was he like the perfect, that's something that I would like to know, like how was his childhood? Was he honoring and respectful of his parents? And when he was told no, how do you take that? How do you say no to Jesus, right? So I'm just asking the question, Ruth, that was brought up. Like, did you have the full spectrum of the human experience? Were you told no? Were you did you pain, the normal childhood illnesses or broken bones or anything that we experience as we test the limits of these human bodies? And I'm hearing a definite laugh, because one of the things that I'm walking closer with Jesus is that he did love humor. He loved to laugh. He loved to make others laugh. And he loved that frequency and what it feels like to me, that he was this bundle of joy as a child, that, yeah, there were the moments when he had to do. And so then I asked about, well, did you have free will like the rest of us? Could you say no to something? And he reminded me that years ago, through a really harrowing physical experience and didn't want to face it, he reminded me and shared with me that he had free will as he was facing the experience on the cross, that he could have changed his mind. And that blew my mind when he so yeah, he had the experience of being a human in all of its aspects. He could say no at any given point to something. He he had just like we do when somebody upsets us or when somebody makes us happy. He had the whole spectrum of the emotion. We talked last week about him not being fearful, but there's a difference in the fear where we don't trust and the fear of the unknown. And that's what he was moments when he wasn't sure how things were going to play out. So fear, but there was that not knowing type of gut anxiety about what might happen. So Lily, I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I know that was a lot.
Bueno, Terry nos dice que ella lo que se pregunta es si Jesús cómo fue su vida como un humano en verdad, como un humano en esencia. Y nos dice que cómo es que él se comportaba, cómo era su vida, cómo era su comportamiento, que si tenía emociones, eso lo hablamos la semana pasada, si se enojaba, si tenía miedo, etcétera. Y, por ejemplo, Terry dijo que cuando estamos en nuestro carro en tráfico, nos podemos frustrar, podemos decirle algo a alguien cuando estamos en el carro. Entonces ella le pregunta que si él era un niño, por decirlo así, perfecto, y cómo es que era su infancia, si él era respetuoso con sus padres, cuando sus padres le decían no a que algo no hiciera, y cómo es que él vivió su vida, que si la vivió, como se dice, con todas las, de lleno, por decirlo así, con todas esas, ¿cómo se dice?, divergencias de la vida humana, que si él vivió dolor, cómo vivió sus enfermedades, etcétera. Y ella dice que ella escuchó una risa viniendo de Jesús mientras ella hacía esta pregunta. A él le gustaba mucho el humor y que él dice que él le gustaba mucho sonreír y le gustaba pues gozar la vida. Pero que siempre también tuvo lo que se llama free will, que tuvo su propia voluntad, siempre tuvo libertad de decir y hacer lo que él quisiera. Aún así, cuando estuvo en la cruz, cuando estuvo crucificado, y dice Terry que ella se asombró de escuchar que él durante la cruz, cuando estaba crucificado, tuvo voluntad propia de decidir lo que él quería hacer. Entonces él nos habla otra vez que él vivió todas esas emociones como nosotras las vivimos y que él no tanto tenía miedo a la vida porque él tenía mucha confianza, trust, él tenía mucha confianza, pero que sí tenía, no necesariamente miedo, pero como que la incertidumbre de la vida era algo que sí le llegaba porque no sabía él necesariamente lo que podría suceder. Entonces no era miedo al futuro, sino simplemente incertidumbre. Esa incertidumbre sí la vivió.
Terry, maybe my question is, did his ability to have free will and make his own decisions come in first? Or was there always a running commentary in his head of guidance?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Ruth está preguntando relacionado con la pregunta de Teri. Su pregunta es que si su habilidad de voluntad propia venía primero o si algún otro comentario de guía llegaba primero. ¿Qué es lo que llegaba primero entonces cuando él escuchaba su guía?
Thank you. And yes, I understand that. And I think it's Isa's question. Perhaps Jesus experienced periods of confusion or the dark time of the soul, which we go through when we are questioning and wondering what this is all about. So I'm just tuning in and seeing if there's anything that Jesus will share that human, because he needed to help us in that way where he would know the times of not knowing, the times of confusion, wondering what it feels like to have pain, what it feels like to have anguish, to have the unknown show up and surprise. So yes, he was fully human. Important thing he said for him in with what he calls the Father, of the Creator. We have many names for God that we refer to as Father and still does. So those things that came up for him in the human experience, check in and get guidance. So it was it was like he knew who he was. He made that very clear. He knew his mission. He knew that he was here for that main purpose, but he also was here as an example for us, sharing with us. And the only way he could do that was to really be human in the body that he experienced so that he could help us then when we went through something in our own life. So that's clear, Ruth, because I'm getting a very clear picture of him experience and then processing it instead of processing it and then having the experience. That's how he's doing it to me.
Okay, I like that because then it feels like it truly was a lifetime of being a human first who happened to have this ability to connect in with spirit to get the bigger perspective.
Yes. Hay una persona en la audiencia que se llama Grace Ices y ella también se pregunta si tal vez Jesús llegó a sentir confusión o lo que se llama en inglés the dark time of the soul, que viene siendo un tiempo de mucha confusión y como de mucha oscuridad que muchos hemos vivido. Y lo que Teri escucha por medio de Jesús es que Jesús vivió una experiencia humana de una manera completa. Como ya lo hemos mencionado, con todo tipo de experiencias y emociones, así como nosotros los seres humanos las vivimos, pero que siempre era importante para él hacer un check-in con el Creador, por decirlo así, o sea, siempre estar como que en comunicación con Dios para estar revisando, para estar preguntando, para estar escuchando sus respuestas. También Jesús sabía muy claramente cuál era su misión. pero también él siempre quiso ser un ejemplo para nosotros como seres humanos.
Okay, I'm not sure if Lily is frozen or if I am.
You're not.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I wasn't sure if we were all frozen, so I pulled it up on Facebook to see. Um,
no, it just looks like she's offline somehow.
okay. All right. Well, let's hope she can find her connection and come back in, because I think it's so important to have that part of this program where it is translated for others. But before she froze up, we were talking. Let's see, maybe that's her coming back in. Yeah, there she is.
I'm back.
You're back. Welcome back.
Oh, so I'm just going to finish with what I was saying. I
Yes.
just have one line. Entonces, Jesús nos quiere hacer ver claramente que Él vivió lo mismo que nosotros vivimos para que nosotros como seres humanos podamos entender lo que Él vivió en esta vida como un ser humano. And I understand what you are saying. I mean, it feels very, I can see it clearly and I can perceive it, that Jesus came here to show us, like you said, as you heard, that he just wanted us to understand that what he felt, what we feel, and where we live is exact. Well, I don't know if to say exactly is a word, but the way we live it is the way he lived it. So we don't see him as a superior person, as somebody above us, like that we can feel our power too, in that sense that basically we are the same. But he was, very guided to do his mission. He was very connected with source and all of this, but to really make us understand that we are as he was, and that we can
Yes.
overcome situations. I mean, of course, his experiences were very, very, very difficult, but it's just an example that we can also overcome situations and that we are powerful and strong
Yes,
and
exactly, Lily.
resilient.
Exactly. Um, and many times in his teachings, in his parables, his stories, his trying to help us get of living a human experience, he would say that we can also do what he did, that he performed. We have the ability to call in miracles. We have the ability to have a higher reach than what we think we can when we're dealing with our fellow humans. He never put on that air of superiority, that I'm God and I can do this. You can't. There was never that attitude. There were those questioned, of course, questioned if he was what he said he was. And he shares that he was very consistent in who he was. He never wavered. He never, even when he was angry, when he was experiencing human emotions of, just those times, like Gracie mentioned, the dark night of the soul, when we have things that are happening that just seem to be out of our control. We go into not really so much doubt as it is the why is this happening. He never asked why. He just wanted to experience it and then process it to where there's a better understanding of the bigger picture. So that's one us how to handle challenges, how to handle struggle, how to handle when something just seems so unfair. And what was it that Gracie said? Did he call on the angels? And yeah, absolutely walked with the angels while he walked on earth.
Ujú. Entonces, aquí expandiendo un poco en lo que Terry dijo, básicamente Jesús nos dice que nosotros podemos hacer lo que Él hizo, hasta milagros, hablando de milagros. Él dice que Él siempre fue muy consistente en lo que Él hacía y que cuando las cosas se salían fuera de control, por decirlo así, Él no preguntaba el por qué me está sucediendo a mí esto. Él simplemente vivía, Él permitía vivir esa experiencia humana para un propósito más grande, que en realidad eso era lo que luego se reflejaba, digamos, de una manera en la perspectiva más grande. Entonces él, aunque las cosas no fueran justas o no fueran como él hubiera querido que fueran, él siempre nada más vivía esa experiencia. Y nos estaba diciendo Grace Ices en la audiencia que él siempre le llamaba a los ángeles. Terry, something that I heard, or yeah, it came to me as you were talking. I mean, the word miracles. So for us, like how, I guess we might not realize, some of us, that we are performing miracles, but we do, right? So, for example, healing miracles, that's a good example, right? So, can you expand on that?
Yes. Prior to Jesus coming and doing the amazing things that we have record of him performing while he was in human form, there's that tried to explain to other humans that there are powers that we have inside of us because we are connected, we are all one, and we are created by God who gave us those powers, the spiritual powers. So when Jesus said that we too can perform miracles, that we too can bring about shifts and changes in the world, he was talking about that spiritual we all have access to. We all have the same amount of spiritual ability. It's how do we hone it? How do we tune into it? And so he was sharing by example how to do that, how to just think something and it happens, right? To speak into being, have that ability. The problem we question, we go into that, oh, I can't do that. I'm not like Jesus. But we are. We're like Jesus. We are human form, but we are divine inside. And what this is all about is that divine part of experiencing things, going through things. And a miracle can be as simple as smiling and changing their whole day, changing maybe their thought the world is a horrible place. And then they see kindness. So that shifts them into a different mindset. That's a miracle. So a miracle doesn't have to be raising somebody from the dead, healing somebody so they're immediately out of a wheelchair. That miracles are all size and shapes. When he said that we have the ability also to perform miracles, to make change and make change come about, talking about there to stop comparing. He's saying, stop comparing, stop thinking that you're too small or you're not enough, that you're not able to do these things that we have inside of us as potential, and let those seeds grow to where they are something full that can be seen, that as to say it's a miracle, or it's something that is in the divine plan that we are just opening up and
Yes. Bueno, yo le preguntaba a Terry, expandiendo un poco en los milagros, y ella dice que Jesús nos dice que nosotros también tenemos, de alguna manera, por decirlo así, poderes, tenemos habilidades espirituales. Cuando logramos conectarnos con Él. De alguna manera, como cuando tú piensas algo y sucede, porque a veces puede suceder así, que tú piensas algo y sucede, lo que a veces le llamamos manifestación. Lo que sucede es que nosotros nos cuestionamos, nos dudamos de nuestras propias habilidades, pero hay que recordar que somos seres divinos por dentro, somos divinidad. Y Terry nos comenta que recordemos que milagros son no nada más las sanaciones o las cosas que suenan muy difíciles de hacer. También un milagro puede ser sonreírle a alguien, y cómo la sonrisa, el sonreírle a alguien en la calle, a una persona que no conocemos, por ejemplo, puede cambiar su vida y puede cambiar su perspectiva. Los milagros son de todos tamaños y colores y formas, por decirlo así, y que no nos comparemos con otros y no pensar que somos demasiado pequeños para lograr ciertas cosas, y dejar que esas semillas florezcan, que crezcan y florezcan.
We have lots of questions floating in from our audience, and I really appreciate everyone that's chiming in today and asking your questions and giving your comments. I want to give opportunity to share with conversation. For some of you, when you're asking questions that we're not fully discussing that aspect right now, just know this is an ongoing program, and I will be making note of the questions that you have, and we will, future episode, will highlight the next thing coming up, the next question that you have. So Ruth, anything from you at the point before we wind up the program?
I don't have anything to add at this point. I think this was a great discussion. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Ruth, for being here. For this program also, Jesus has always been very important to me in my life. And those questions have just built over the years of what he was like as a human. We know so little of his life. We have some written accounts, and historians have written about. But to really tune in, this is what I was told, to really fully understand, ask, go to the source, is Jesus creator, and just ask, what was he like? What did he do? What did he say? And one of the things that he wanted me to bring out today was about prayer. And I think we touched on that when he shared the need, solitude or quiet, the need to ask. And even when you think about even Jesus asking, you know, about certain things that he experienced in human form, that just tells me that we really need that in our life. We need prayer, just something that is, we have certain prayers that are ritual prayers that we do at certain times. But prayer is communication, is coming to the Creator with something on our hearts. And that's what we bring forth. Whatever words we say, however we say them, whatever language we say them in, it doesn't matter. It's the essence coming from our heart. That's prayer, and asking God to give us information or comfort or answer something that we want to know or we want to see. That's prayer. And that's what Jesus wanted to be made clear today, that he prayed, he encouraged pray every day. And there's a quote that says, pray without ceasing. And that means to always live your life with that attitude of communicating with God, staying in touch with the Creator at all times, no matter what you're going through. So, Lily, I know that was a mouthful, so I'll pause for you.
Well, yeah, and with this, I just remember that in the past, I didn't ask. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't have that daily communication with Jesus or Source. And I have been doing this probably already for maybe 5 years. And I do see the difference. When I pray and when I ask, I receive answers. I really do. And not just with Jesus, I mean the angels or my team or however you call it. I do ask. And it's amazing what you see when you ask. I mean, yes, there are times that you don't see the answers when you wanted, or in the time that you want, or how you expected them. But there are times that you see signs, or you just actually see what you ask coming to, for manifesting, basically. So I think it is important to remember to stay in touch, communicate, and ask every day and every moment that you feel to do it.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to translate in Spanish the essence of this. Estábamos diciendo que la importancia de lo que es la oración, porque fue la pregunta que Terry tuvo desde el principio de este programa, preguntarle a Jesús acerca de la oración. Y él, en la plática, en la conversación, nos hacemos hincapié de la importancia de orar, de pedir, de preguntar, porque lo que tú preguntes, digamos que tendrá respuesta, no tal vez en el tiempo que tú quieras o como tú quieras. A veces sí sucede así, pero muchas veces no. Pero si tú preguntas, vas a recibir respuestas. Y mientras más te comuniques, más seguido te comuniques con Jesús, con Dios, con quien tú te comuniques como la fuente, más vas a empezar a ver esas cosas sucediendo en tu vida y en la vida de la gente alrededor tuyo.
Thank you, Lily. So as I tuned in to Jesus and asked specifically about prayer, how did you pray, Jesus? What did you say when you sat in those quiet moments and you were asking or you were praising? What were some of the words that you used? How did you talk to who you call your father, the creator, God? And so he said that he just released what was his heart. He came from that. It wasn't a perfect prayer. It didn't have to be perfect words. It didn't have to sound eloquent. Um, it was just like speaking to your best friend. It's like speaking to one that you hold high regard for because you come out of respect, you come out of honor. And so he's encouraging all of us in our daily time when we just be still and listen, be still and know that that power called God is aware of what we're saying, aware of the essence of what we are saying. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect words. You don't have to word it perfectly. You just sometimes you don't even need words. You just have tears, tears of joy or tears of sorrow or tears of frustration. You just let the essence out of you and God receives it. And anytime we receive answers without even praying for something because God feels what's in our heart. So in your moments of alone time, stillness, and shutting down all of the distractions of the world, just be you. Just don't try to put on any airs or any pretense or think you have to pray like that pastor that you pay attention to in church or on the screen or the Pope or whoever is offering a beautiful prayer. It's not about that. It's coming from your heart. It's letting yourself shine before God and being real. And that's the point that's driving home for us. Be real. And when you come to Him, when you come to God, just be you. Don't try to be someone else. Just be you. And if you have a burning desire, or if you have something you want answered, or you just need to feel that closeness, just ask. Just ask. That's all He says. Just bring it out from your heart. So, Lily?
Bueno, aquí Terry le pregunta a Jesús cómo es que él oraba, cómo es que tú te comunicabas con tu padre. Y él nos dice que él dejaba fluir y soltaba y se comunicaba por medio del corazón. Lo que él estaba en su corazón. Así que no lo que está necesariamente en tu mente, sino lo que está en tu corazón. Es la manera en la que él se comunicaba, como si estuvieras hablando con tu mejor amigo. Y él nos motiva a estar en nuestro día en momentos en silencio y de escuchar. Y que recordemos que no necesariamente tienen que ser esas perfect words, no necesitan ser palabras perfectas. Solo deja que la esencia de ti salga y recibas esas respuestas. Conectarte con el corazón y sentir lo que está en tu corazón. Que seas real, que seas tú y que simplemente preguntes. Eso es todo. Es muy simple. So it's simple. Simple.
Simple. The angels have always said that us humans complicate things, and we do. We try to make it complicated. We try to put rules to it and restrictions and limitations. And Jesus also says, just keep it simple. Just make it simple and easy. Let things happen with ease and grace instead of thinking that you have a lot of have tos in life. I love that. So I just thank everybody today and see if Ruth or Lily have any special things you want to say to end this and say goodbye to our family that's watching with us online and anyone who may be tuning into this now or later on the replay. We thank you all for being here and so much love to all of you.
Teri, I just wanted to share one thing that was coming through to me while you were talking. They said a person cannot be separated from his true nature. And so whenever Jesus was talking or reacting, he was reacting from his whole nature, which included being part divine. So there probably wasn't ever times that he was just reacting wholly as a person, because he never was wholly a person. He was always part divine.
Yes.
And I'm going to translate that. And I guess after that, the question that I just have is, how can our audience continue walking with Jesus after this conversation? So that's my question, but I'm going to translate what Ruth said. Ruth, lo que ella escuchó mientras tenemos esta conversación es que la persona no puede estar separada de su true nature, de su verdadera naturaleza. Y que Jesús siempre respondió desde la naturaleza, su naturaleza divina, porque era parte de la divinidad, era en parte divinidad. Aparte de estar en un cuerpo humano y viviendo una experiencia humana, él era parte divinidad, así como nosotros también lo somos. Y mi última pregunta para Teri, para Jesús, es, how can our audience continue walking with Jesus after this conversation? Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo es que nuestra audiencia puede continuar caminando con Jesús después de esta conversación?
Thank you so much, Lily, and thank you for that wonderful question, which I think as I was preparing for this show today, what important things needed to be brought out. One of the things, actually, and I had made a note that Jesus said he prayed because connection matters, love matters. So as we humans walk this earth still, remember those things. Remember that to be closer with Jesus, connect, ask, pray, questions in our minds and our hearts, ask it and get that connection, that connecting in. Many times when I ask a question, whether it's of Jesus, God, the angels, my team, as Lily mentioned before, we all have a team, our spirit guides that we work with. Many times they'll give an image. Maybe your answer to your prayer won't come through words, but it'll be an image or something displayed that either you think or you see physically. So stay connected and walk gently, walk in peace, walk in love. And remember, you're never walking alone. And that's so important, is for us to feel that closeness, feel that oneness. One of the things he said when he was in his human body is I and the just as we are all connected in. So find that connection. Breathe in the stillness, breathe in your quiet time, and feel that connection. And this is going to add mind and in your heart. And that's how you stay connected. In a closer walk with Jesus is to be, just to sit in the stillness and be, as he did, feel that closer connection with his Father. So thank you, Matt. And thank you all for your questions and your comments today. They're so appreciated. And we will get to those questions. Each week we'll have a different, and if your question doesn't get answered, then ask it again. And once we see it a couple of times, then we know that that's a sign to hold that discussion immediately.
I'm going to translate that, Terry. Terry nos dice que continuemos, que Jesús nos dice que continuemos estando en silencio, porque eso importa durante nuestro día donde nos distraemos, que recordemos de conectarnos con Él diariamente y como dijimos anteriormente, pregunta desde tu corazón. A veces tú puedes recibir una respuesta por medio de algo que tú ves o algo que tú sientes, con una imagen puede ser, o a veces tú puedes escuchar algo. Y Jesús nos recuerda que caminemos gentilmente, en paz y en amor, que todos somos uno. We are all one. Todos estamos conectados. We are all connected. Y permite que tu esencia haga esas preguntas y recibirás tus respuestas. Gracias a todos por haber estado aquí el día de hoy. A la audiencia que habla español, muchas gracias por ver este programa. Y nos veremos la próxima semana, el sábado a las 10 de la mañana, hora del este. Gracias.
Thank you, Ruth, for being here today. And to all of you that are listening in or will listen, we love you. Stay in your heart. That's where the connection is, in our heart space. And we'll see you back here next week at 10 o'clock Eastern Time for Walking with Jesus. Bless you, and bye for now.